the end of the tunnel.
Can the human mind and consciousness really be working when your brain isn't working and you have gone through death? Or is it just some kind of illusion?
They are convincing, realistic, quite amazing experiences.
I've been there and I know it's real.
I literally floated back up to the ceiling and woke up.
Today, there are plenty of stories of people who claim to have come back from states close to death, and they have the memories to prove it. They talk about an extremely pleasant, even joyful experience at death's door. For them, the near-death experience can be life-changing, and for others, it's all the evidence they need to show that life after death exists. Russell Wayne had led a normal and quiet life until one night he went out for a ride.
I had a head-on collision with a car. I was on a motorbike. I got taken to Selly Oak Hospital, where I underwent surgery straight away.
As the surgeons battled to save him, Russell saw things from a very different angle.
The next thing I remember is waking up in a dark tunnel. You know, if you go down a cave and you actually feel the side of the cave walls and it's all smooth and damp, that was what the walls felt like, with old Roman paving, and there's a big bright light at the bottom with like an arch, a stone solid arch. And I walked into the arch and I felt no pain at all. The next thing I remember is looking down on myself in the ICU ward, with my mum holding my left hand crying and my dad hugging her. And I literally floated back up to the ceiling and woke up.
Russell and countless others like him around the world talk of their near-death experiences with complete sincerity. But are they a gateway to the afterlife, or the final unexplained experience before we die? Like most scientists, Dr. Sam Parnia is sceptical of the claims that people make when recounting their near-death experiences, but dealing with patients while practicing in an intensive care unit has forced him to challenge his own scepticism.
People who've gone through clinical death and been brought back to life again will often describe a sensation of separating from themselves, and that's called an out-of-body experience. And that's the aspect that can be tested and validated scientifically. So if it's real, we should be able to prove it. And if it's just a trick of the mind, we should be able to prove it as well.
To do this, Dr. Parnia has placed images facing upwards, high up above the patient's beds. The only way the patient could see them would be if, as some claim, their mind somehow separated from their body and hover above the scene.
We want to know, do they identify either this picture or the picture that's above there, or nothing at all?
So if you have a significant result, if you have people positively identifying what's on the shelf, then what does that show?
Well, that would be remarkable. And what it tells us is that, of course, the mind being the mystery that it is, and no one understands how it comes to be, it could be that the human mind can be non-localized to the brain.
Dr. Parnia and I both agree that there's a great mystery to the nature of consciousness. But he's taking the traditional old-fashioned view that most people on this planet believe in, that there is inside a spirit or a soul or something that requires some force that science hasn't yet revealed and so on, and that he can find this in the experiment.
Dr. Susan Blackmore is one of Britain's leading psychologists. She accepts how vivid and realistic such out-of-body experiences can be to people, but believes they provide no evidence of an afterlife.
All my own research over decades on out-of-the-body experiences shows that they are convincing, realistic, quite amazing experiences, but that nothing leaves the body. If the results of this experiment show that people really can see the images, then my theories are wrong, and I'll have to start working all over again.
Like most people, Tim Ellis was sceptical about out-of-body experiences, but that was before he was checked into hospital for a routine hernia operation.
I was completely alert, completely awake, outside of my body. It was very, very vivid. It was clear as anything. I was there. It was me, being stood behind the surgeon watching him operating on me.
Tim firmly believes he did leave his own body, and Dr. Parnia believes that even if his study does reveal evidence of out-of-body experiences, this suggests not so much an afterlife as proof of mind over matter.
We know that in the subatomic world, the smaller than atoms, things behave in really bizarre ways that we don't understand. They call it quantum physics. And at that level, things can be non-localized. And so it could simply be that the human mind is not produced from these big brain cells connected together, but something at a much smaller level, that makes it do these incredible things, and that would open up a whole new branch of science.
Though for Russell Wayne and the countless others who say their lives have been transformed by their near-death experiences, part of the mystery at least has already been explained.
I know when I die I'm going to go somewhere else.
How do you know that?
Because what I've seen is, I'm 110% sure what I've seen is the truth. What I saw is what I saw.
The One Show GP is here. Dr. Sarah, go on, what do you think?
Well, there's an awful lot of very easy explanations for this. You talk about the sweaty palms. When you get the adrenaline gets flowing, just about to go on stage, what happens? Mouth dry?
Mouth dry.
Palms sweaty.
If you're just about to die, the adrenaline would be flowing a little bit.
Funnily enough, and I think that's probably a lot of what this is.
Yeah.
They're quite short of oxygen, lots of hormones flowing, and possibly lots of drugs when they're trying to resuscitate you.
OK. Are you a believer? Do you...
I'm open to it. At the end of the day, I just look at how amazing the universe is, and I think anything's possible. If we can create the universe, why can't we do that as well?
You see, I kind of agree.
The irony is just because we don't understand it, we have to think it's paranormal.
Human beings always want to know everything. Just accept we can't work everything out.
They just had a funny dream. What a funny...
I think what it does
dream.
prove, let's face it, what it does prove is that doctors aren't nearly as clever as we'd like to think we are.
Oh, don't be hard on yourself, Sarah.
We love you, Sarah, really. Well, we'd like you to join the debate, please, on our website, bbc.co.uk/The One Show, and we'll keep you posted on the results of that study.
All this week, our wildlife team, Mike and Miranda, have been busy, haven't they?
Oh, yes, they've been watching, like hawks, the gardens of a Bristol cul-de-sac to see what beasts, birds and insects lurk within.
And tonight... a mystery is solved.
Yeah.
Just what creature is responsible for the unearthly sound coming out of the back of Val's place?
Today, we've got a challenge which could double our species tally in 20 minutes. We've each chosen a common garden tree and we're going to compete to see who can find the most insects.
Lovely.
10 minutes starting from now.
I've chosen this huge lime tree, and I'm using my beating tray to catch anything and everything I can shake out of it.
Come on, you beasties.
A lime tree can play host to around 30 different species.
Oh, I've got a ladybird. I've got a ladybird, everybody.
A big tree like this could be home to thousands of insects, so I'm confident I can win this challenge.
2, 1, stop.
I think I've done really quite well.
Now it's my turn and I've chosen the willow tree at the bottom of the garden. Right, well, to beat Mike, I'm going industrial. My industrial device has reduced suction, so don't worry, no bugs were harmed in the making of this challenge.
Oh, beetle.
You said that didn't come off the tree.
That came off the ground. That's a cheat. That's a cheat. That's a ground beetle. Strike that one off the list.
Even without cheating, I should have this one in the bag because my willow tree can host more than 250 different species compared to Mike's lime tree with only 30. You're not going to beat this, Mr. Dilger.
Whoa.
Look at that. I win on biomass.
You certainly do. It's a hawk moth caterpillar.
Isn't that
Wonderful.
beautiful? We're lucky to catch this caterpillar before it burrows underground, ready to hatch out in the spring. But is it enough to help me clinch this final challenge? How many species do you reckon you picked up?
I think probably about 20, but you've certainly got a better diversity than me.
Maybe
I've got
so.
spiders, flies and a ladybird, and you've got...
The shield bug and the hopper and 2 species of caterpillar as well.
I think diversity-wise you've won. Numbers-wise, I might have won. But I have to say, you caught the best specimen.
I did, didn't I? That hawk moth caterpillar is definitely the best. So I win, yeah?
Kind of honours even, to be honest. I was dangling halfway up a tree, and there are less species theoretically on lime.
I win.
So with a handicap, I think I probably slightly edged it.
Earlier this week, I made a prediction about a mystery animal that has been disturbing neighbour Val in the dead of the night.
Quite frightening noises, actually.
Well, no looking.
With £10 at stake, now it's time to find out whether my prediction is right or wrong. But we do have a confession. Despite all our cameras, we haven't seen hide nor hair of our mystery creature. But luckily, one of our neighbours has.
Good heavens, what is that? Oh, a deer?
It is.
It's actually a muntjac deer, originally from Southeast Asia. They often communicate by making loud barking sounds, and that's what's been disturbing Val in the dead of night.
Now, that white envelope, madam.
Yes.
Would you like to open it to see what I predicted it might be?
Muntjac, exactly as I predicted.
Oh, you were right.
Officially, the £10 note is mine, but I think Val should have it.
Buy yourself a set of deluxe earplugs. It might not bother you again. What a little beauty.
Wow.
Another mystery solved and a great end to the week.
Ta-da! That is a brilliant garden watch. How'd you get on?
Well, I solved Dave's mystery scratchings in his front garden.
It is a badger.
It is a badger.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I solved Val's noises that were keeping awake at night. What about your highlights? Come on.
My highlights definitely were tickling the tube web spiders out of their holes. And they were just spectacular. And also trying to work out what scents squirrels are using to find nuts. What about you?
Well, my highlights, undoubtedly showing the girls the moths. They were mad for it. Can everyone see the colours there? And of course the other one, talking to tawny owls. What a hoot. There we go.
Another successful garden watch.
Bring on the next one, eh?
So how did you know about this muntjac deer? Are they all over the place, aren't they?
They're all over the kind of home counters in southern England. The Duke of Bedford in the 19th century introduced them to Woburn Abbey.
All right, but how did you know that was making the noise?
They escaped and spread all over the place. There's not much that barks at dawn and dusk. It could be foxes, but that's kind of October, November. The only thing could be is roe deer. So it was, you know, there was not much to choose from, really.
Oh,
but luckily, I got it right.
Yeah. I have them near my house.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do they make that noise?
When you come home from clubbing about 3, 4 in the morning, it's the best time to sleep.
Absolutely spot on. There you go.
3, 4 in the morning?
Well, you know, that time of night when there's no cars around, you often see
You'll get arrested for deer bothering at that time in the morning.
Wildlife in the nightclub, wildlife outside, eh?
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Feed the Birds Day. Is that about feeding birds?
Adrian, you are very sharp. The RSPB have instigated, it's a Feed the Birds weekend, actually.
Yeah.
They want to get as many people going out feeding the birds, because winter's coming, they need our help. And amazingly, 6 out of 10 people feed the birds. And we want to hire, don't we, Alesha?
I feed the birds.
Do you?
Yeah,
There you go.
always.
Christine?
I do.
Adrian?
Don't bother, mate.
I know you do. Don't you give me that.
No, well, I did, but they didn't come, so I thought, well, I'm not making the effort. How do you
75%, that ain't bad.
As for but you can actually prepare things for the birds to eat. Never mind Gordon Ramsay with his flipping F word. Here's Mike Dilger with the B word.
It's feeding time. It's bird feeding time. Peanuts, sunflower hearts, whole variety of seeds, lard, chop in half, stick together. The birds will love it. Bird cake. Done. There you go.
I didn't think they were truffles, but...
What have you got there? Can you give us a rattle through these?
A whole range of things.
Those are your balls you just made there, aren't they?
These are the balls I just prepared earlier. A whole bunch of seeds. There's fat balls you prepared earlier, or you can buy in supermarkets or whatever, but you can make your own. But in these financially straitened times with the credit crunch, feed them grated cheese or cake, but don't feed them things like bread or milk or biscuits.
Can't
They
give
don't
them
like
Indian
that.
takeaway or anything?
No.
I don't think
Stay
so.
away from that.
But you can go onto the website and there's loads of information there, a link to the RSPB, and they'll tell you all the
There's loads
information.
more tips on there. bbc.co.uk/The One Show.
Alicia, your new album, The Alicia Show, is anything on it for me? 41-year-old reluctant
what do you
dancer.
like listening to?
I'm a general dad dancing, kind of incompetent, reluctant, need a couple of pints of mild inside me, that kind of thing.
Then there's something on there for
There's something on there for me.
Absolutely.
What do you think of this for dad dancing? The man who's probably going to be the next president of the United States of America. He's got some front, hasn't he?
He's down with the kids.
This is what they're dancing about. I love him. He's got rhythm.
He has got rhythm. I thought that looked really well. He's better than you dancing, I'll tell you that much. The new single, though, The Boy Does Nothing. It's absolutely brilliant. It's out on the 10th of November, and look at this very sexy lady in action.
So just going through the lyrics, says he never wash up, he never brush up. Does he clean up? No, he never cleans up. Did you go out with a messy bloke or something?
I'm asking asking the question, does he wash up? Does he brush up?
Is that important to you then?
Not particularly. I just thought it was a bit of fun.
All right. Listen, I know you said you're after a ferret. I know you want an American, but...
you said an American boy in the press this week, yeah?
It says in the papers you do, so you do.
No, I said I wanted to go to America and release my album, and they changed it into I wanted to go and get an American boy.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got someone closer to home. He knows you, in the song you said you're keen on washing up and brushing up and everything.
Yeah.
He's our props man.
Oh.
Dave, he's beautiful inside, isn't he?
You're trying to hook me up with that?
I am. Listen, he's got this little appeal for you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Absolutely brilliant. I will call you, darling.
He's a Crystal Palace fan. He fancy a trip to Sellers Park? He's your man.
Oh, brilliant.
Ladies are said to like truffles, generally the kind that has a thick layer of chocolate around them. But this is the... This is... I can't get it out of the bag. I forgot I was so excited about that. It looks like something you might have bought out the back of a pub, actually. But it is, in fact, a truffle. It's fungi, it is.
Yes, real truffles can cost an absolute fortune, up to £3,000 a kilo, believe it or not.
You a fan?
I don't know. My dog does things that look like that.
You're absolutely
Sorry.
right.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a fan. It looks awful and it smells gross.
It's funny you say something like... It does look like something that could have come out the back of a Labrador. Barely a week left of the truffle season. Can you tell the difference? It's important. Time to play.
Got the giggles now.
Truffle or poo? Yes, the rules are simple. We show you a picture, you tell us whether it's a truffle or a poo. Picture number 1, please.
What do you think, folks? Truffle or poo? Just shout out. Poo.
Truffle.
No, I think the consensus is poo, Alesha. Your vote doesn't count double, I'm afraid.
What is it?
Is it poo? Yes, that is in fact poo there.
Well done.
The next one, is this truffle or poo?
Truffle.
Truffle, definitely.
Truffle. Is that a truffle?
Oh!
No.
It's not a poo.
That is truffle. That is truffle. That was a wrong sound. It was a truffle. And finally, what do you think this is?
Definitely a truffle.
Definitely a poo.
Poo. Let's have a look.
What is it?
Poo.
Let's have a look, shall we? No, it's a poo. That dog's not looking for it. That dog's just done it. So that's definitely a poo.
Here.
Today's
Programme's out of control. Hunting truffles. Hunting truffles is probably something best left to the experts. That's why we sent the Italian chef Aldo Zilli to do our ferreting for us.
They've been described as diamonds of the kitchen, and truffles are some of the most expensive ingredients on earth. But hunting down these delicacies isn't easy or glamorous. Traditionally, truffle hawks were used to sniff through the forest floor, but nowadays, dogs are more popular because they won't try and eat them.
I love truffles. They are the fungus from heaven. And little did I know, they grow wild in this country.
In fact, there are about 60 species of truffle in Britain, but only a few are edible, and they're very hard to find. So I've joined this group of truffle lovers in a secret West Country location. We're after the rare summer truffle, which can fetch up to £300 a kilo.
This is the root of the tree. This is where you find them.
The English truffle, it grows on the roots of the trees. It needs the tree to survive, but what it actually does is it helps the tree as well. So it gives the tree nutrients, and the tree gives the truffle sugars.
And you and I need dogs to find the truffles.
Definitely need dogs to find them. Yeah, they're quite tricky things to pin down.
Because it's quite dangerous as well, isn't it? Because mushrooms are dangerous. Truffles, if you don't know what you're doing, it must be the same thing.
We get sent photos every now and again of what people think are truffles, and a lot of the times they're not. They're species called Scleroderma or other things which can make you quite ill. OK, we'll try and give Chester the scent now. Come here, Chester.
You better find me some truffles, mate, because I'm hungry.
Good boy.
So, Paul, what is it they're doing now?
So we've given them the scent, they've picked up the scent, and now they're zigzagging through the woodland, so we're looking to see if they're finding a truffle. It's going to be quite obvious when they do.
Come on, find it. In my home region in Italy, truffle hunting is an annual event. And while these British truffles aren't as expensive, it seems they're just as hard to find. Hey, I've got some.
One skill required with truffle hunting is patience. Us chefs don't have any of that. So while the team carries on the hunt, I've taken the easy way out. I'll buy all your truffles, please.
That'll be £500.
Mamma mia.
Aldo, you've got to be careful. Lovely to have you on the show, by the way. You've got to be careful when you're out looking for. You pick the wrong thing, you could be very poorly, couldn't you?
Absolutely. I mean, it's like fungi, you know, it's like mushrooms. Wild mushrooms, you wouldn't go and do it on your own. You'd have an expert with you.
Yeah.
Truffles, exactly the same thing. Not easy to find.
Alesha,
Yes,
help yourself.
go for it.
Black truffles.
What have you done for us here? This is just very plainly cooked.
Fettuccine with truffle. It's just butter, parmesan, and truffle.
Right.
And the
Okay.
risotto next to it is exactly the same.
Oh, that's
See, Alesha didn't like truffles before.
Oh, they're lovely.
Yeah.
And it's
You pile it in. You just pile it in.
You won't have to cook dinner now.
But make sure if you have black truffle, you cook them because you can't eat black truffles raw. White truffles, on the other hand, you can.
It's got a soily kind of... How would you just... Excuse me, I'm sorry for spitting all over you. It's got...
Lovely.
It's got a kind of an earthy
Earthy.
kind of taste. A bit garlicky as well.
Yeah, and it's very
right?
strong. I mean, it kind of smells of like old socks if you smell that one.
Oh,
there.
don't. I was really enjoying it.
It does, though, doesn't
We
it?
said out how much some of these truffles can cost. Do you think they are worth it then? Would you spend £3,000 on a kilo?
I would spend as much as it takes because I love that. I love truffles and I love white truffles. I mean, when you do a risotto with white truffle, you have that passion coming through. You have the smell coming through, and it's an aphrodisiac. So you have to eat that.
Look, there's an economic crisis on. Are there cheap truffles you can get hold of?
You're eating them now.
Yeah, all right.
These are.
Oh, you give us the cheap
We've got
stuff.
the £2 ones.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't be able to find the white ones in England, so
Fair enough.
Well done. Thanks for that. Lovely. Our science man, Marty Jopson, has been busy clarifying some science myths these last few weeks. This week, he's looking at lightning. Lightning.
Can it strike twice in the same place?
There you go. Yes, it can, apparently.
Strike a light. The things we think we know about lightning, but don't. Like, can you predict it? Where is it safe to be? And does lightning ever strike twice? Well, it certainly does.
First time on a golf course, a massive oak tree about 100 yards in front of us took a direct impact from a huge lightning bolt, which split it in half, burning and leaving devastation all around it. The next time I was playing with the family, in the distance were black looming clouds. Although it wasn't raining at this stage, we played a first shot, we never made the second. All I can remember was a huge explosion and being thrown into the air. Hurt myself quite badly and then ended up in hospital.
With lightning, the flow of electricity from charged clouds, millions and millions of volts, always takes the shortest route to Earth. Through tall things like this, or this, even a tree. In fact, when lightning hits a tree, the enormous heat generated boils the moisture in here, and that makes the tree explode, and it's that wooden shrapnel that'll kill you. But let's get our hands on some kit. I've come to Aberdeen's Satrosphere Science Centre with Dr. Ken Skeldon from Aberdeen University to rattle Franklin's bells, which foretells you of an impending thunderstorm. It was Benjamin Franklin who rightly concluded lightning was electrical in the mid-18th century. And I've made my own set of Franklin's bells here. Imagine this is a thundercloud. It will charge this bell up here. This bell will attract the little ringer. The ringer will ding against it, pick up a little bit of charge, and then be repelled because light charges repel. It'll bounce over here, hit this side, and discharge. I start cranking this machine up, and once it gets going, there you go. Franklin's bell's ringing. So you know a storm is coming and lightning is in the air, but where are you safe? Well, if you're stuck out in the open, your only option is embarrassment. You have to bend over like this so that your head and your heart are as low as possible. Well, they're lower than your bottom at least. And now, if lightning strikes you, it'll hit this bit, your bum, it'll go down your legs, and it'll miss all your vital organs. You'll be safe. Or you could jump in your car. And so long as you don't touch the metalwork, it will protect you from lightning. It's got nothing to do with the rubber tyres.
It's an example of a scientific myth which has got some good science in it, because rubber does stop electricity. But if you think about it, the lightning has already travelled a kilometre to get to the tyre.
Yeah.
It's not going to be worried about that little bit of rubber there and that little bit of rubber there.
The reason why you're safe in a car is because you're in a metal cage. And just like at the beginning, I was in a metal cage being zapped, and I would say the car protects you from the lightning. You're best off, of course, inside an enclosed building. Welcome to my little world with an enormous great lightning generator in the sky. Obviously, tall buildings are the most vulnerable. They get struck all the time. But in the real world, lightning conductors take the current safely to Earth. The problem is that wiring and aerials and water pipes and even the telephone can act like a lightning conductor. It's probably best not to be on the phone. I hope all this stuff hasn't scared you. The chances of you being struck by lightning outdoors are 1 in 3 million. Apparently, you can feel your hair stand on end when a lightning strike is imminent, and you've got about 30 seconds to act. Assume the position, and if you can, move away from the area at the same time. It's easier said than done.
Hope that keeps you safe this winter.
Do be careful. Don't do it in a shopping centre or anything like that.
You might get arrested,
look odd,
yes.
Alesha, good luck with the album, the Alesha
Thank you,
Show, out on
guys.
24th
Yeah, I love
of
your
November.
show.
Oh, we
like
love
it.
you.
It's great.
And we love the single, which is out November 10th.
If you're on Children in Need as well next month, reminds me, do empty your pockets. You don't get an appearance fee. We just take your loose change off and put it in there. That's part of the Pennies for Podsy campaign. Have a look on the website and you'll see that you can take all your coins to NatWest, Royal Bank of Scotland or the Ulster Bank.
Yes, next week, Dawn French, Alistair Campbell and Ricky Gervais.
All will be revealed of their small change here on The One Show. Have a great weekend. Strictly Come Dancing tomorrow night. Don't forget who to vote for, even if she's rubbish. Okay? Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.